Life goes on and my heart's broken, split in two. Every day I wake up missing you. Every day I wake up missing you. They say that life goes on and time will heal all my wounds. Life goes on and my heart's broken, split in two. Every day I wake up missing you. Every day I wake up missing you.
All right. Hello, hip hop heads and horror fans. This is your host, 7Octoberz, here with another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue, my podcast. I also have a blog. You can follow me at 7octoberz.com. 7Octoberz is below right here, how to spell it. And again, it's a podcast, episode 2, season 2. Today I have a special guest. I'll give a brief introduction and then I'll bring her on the screen. So she goes by Bizzy Balboa. She's a dope MC, podcaster as well, like myself. She runs this podcast called Get to Know Me podcast. She's been putting in work. She's been doing like interviews like almost every week and like more than one during the week. So that's pretty dope of her. She's like has strong work ethic, I can tell. And she's also an entrepreneur. She has like a clothing line. It's Big Love. But I think it goes by Live Full, Die Empty, and we'll go over that in a second with her. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. But without further ado, I'm going to bring her on the screen here. Hey, what's up, Bizzy?
What's going on?
Hey, well, thank you for joining me. So a couple things I'll kind of have you introduce yourself to. I gave a little brief bio, but obviously you know more about yourself than I do. So if you want to tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into the creative arena and all that.
Yeah, you did a great job, by the way.
Thanks.
I'm Bizzy Balboa. I'm originally from Valdosta, Georgia. I've been in San Diego about 6 years. I've been doing music since I was probably 5 years old. I've been writing and doing music my whole life.
Yeah.
My mom used to catch me in the closet writing raps and stuff like at a very young age. And
Yeah.
she talk about it all the time. She still has all of my raps. She collects all of my stuff.
That's
I've
pretty
just
cool.
been doing it like since I was a kid, like
Yeah.
all my life.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's all I know. I guess that's a little bit of bio of Bizzy Balboa.
Cool. And then and then I kind of figured out like your artistic name was like that Balboa. I was thinking it was like due to the Rocky films, and then I think I heard the interview you did with Rob Broccoli, shout out to him, Spooky Gang, that you said that it was because of that, right? So I guess I was on point when I guessed that part. But Bizzy, is it just like a nickname?
Yeah, Bizzy is a nickname. I've always been known, but as Bizzy. That kind of,
Okay.
I don't know where that name came from. I
Mm-hmm.
guess me being busy, I've always been like a very active person.
Yeah.
um, and the Balboa came from my best friend. Like we used to do skits all the time, and he named me Cocky Balboa, based off Rocky or whatever. And he
Yeah.
just was like, you should keep it because you got punchlines and you be hitting them hard and all of that. And I was like, it got a ring to it,
Yeah.
So I kept it. I've been going by Bizzy Balboa for at least maybe 10 years.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. And then I like to ask this question because we're obviously it's like a hip hop and horror blog, so I'm gonna mix a little bit of both. But to start on the hip hop side, what made you like fall in love with the hip hop and the culture and rapping and all that?
I really don't know like what initially started it, but I know that as a kid we used to always watch a lot of movies
Hmm.
they had like a heavy musical influence, like Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It, and
Yeah.
the Temptations, the Five Heartbeats,
Yeah.
anything that had like a musical background. We watched all of those movies as a kid, so I
Yeah.
knew that I loved music, and I just kind of grew up getting magazines all the time, and the magazines had different artists in there. So
Yeah.
I would go from listening to NSYNC to DMX because I would go by what's in the magazine.
Yeah.
It was hard to know. We were born in the same year, so it was really
Exactly.
hard to know what artists were doing what and who was cool with who. So I did it. I found out through magazines. And
That's true.
I
Yeah.
just kind of like started listening to a lot of people in New York. I
Uh-huh.
didn't really listen to my surrounding counties until I got older, around 18, and I started listening to people like Outkast, Phil Mob. Like I
Yeah.
had heard them, but I think at
Uh-huh.
18 is when I started to really like understand, like, oh snap, like these
Yeah.
dudes are crazy. And that's whenever I really was like, okay, I want to be like very serious about music. And I looked up an art institute, and my mom was like, saying like, you should go. But I was kind of, getting in a lot of trouble at the time. I was like in the streets a lot, getting in trouble with different people. So
Yeah.
whenever I did file to go to the art institute, it was the one in Atlanta, and like they were basically like, "Oh, you're too late," and I didn't think I'd be able to go. But my mom, she's a professor at a college, so
Oh,
she
that's
was
pretty
like
dope. Yeah.
doing what she could to get me gone, and I was gone in like a week, and
Oh, wow.
I was at an art school like fresh out of high school.
That's pretty cool. So it was kind of like a college type of thing, or like the art school?
Yeah,
Or...
Art Institute of Atlanta. It's a
Okay.
college. They help you pretty much put together like a portfolio so that you can apply and get you a decent career in a good field
That's
that you
pretty
went to
cool.
school for. But
Yeah.
a lot of it is it's really like, just them kind of like putting together what you already know. They don't really teach you a lot. So when
Yeah.
I went there, I already didn't know how to record, so they telling me like, okay, well, bring in all of your mixes, and I'm like, what? I don't know how to mix. Like I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I met, so many artists at the Art Institute of Atlanta, and they taught me how to record like
That's
in
pretty
real
cool.
life,
Yeah.
because before then I was recording off little cassette tapes and
Oh, yeah. I used to do that
things
too.
like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And the people at the Art Institute, Big B and Beware Records, they taught me how to record. And once I learned, I went back home and I started up my own. I guess it was a collective, but at the time I didn't know what I was doing. I just was like, I'm going to get a bunch of rappers and we're going to be together all the time and we're going to make music together.
Yeah.
And when I went back, I taught like 8 artists how to record. Most of them were related to me, but they were artists.
Okay.
And I taught them how to record. We started, putting together a tape, and we started booking shows, and we created a crew about business. And that's pretty much like what I represent, a crew about business. It's still like my independent label. I don't really talk about it a lot, but it's still like an independent label.
Okay.
And that's what we started. And pretty much since then, I've just been on track with the music ever since I got back from the Art Institute of Atlanta.
Oh. And what label? What's the name of the label?
The label that taught me how to record was
Yeah.
Beware Records, and the label that I started is ACAB, a crew about business, AKAB.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. And then talking about music and everything kind of leads to your EP here, or I don't know if you would consider an EP or an album. I would consider, I think, like an EP just because it's not that long, right? But it has 10
Yeah, it's
tracks,
not long.
right? And I have
I'd
like
say an album.
the CD
I
for
don't
people
know.
who could see it right here. uh,
Got a
so
copy.
yeah, Disturbed Tranquility is what it's called, and you said it's like your first official, right? Official like release because you've released
Yeah,
music, but
I got
something,
like
yeah,
I got so many projects, like too many, but nothing was like that.
yeah.
Like that right there is a
Yeah, it's pretty cool, like the story behind it. So we'll kind of talk for those people that might not know who you are and they're barely getting introduced to you watching this episode. So, you mentioned that you actually came up with the track list first, which spells out every first letter of each track spells "rest in peace," which that's pretty dope. And I was gonna ask you, like, is that something that is this the first time you've ever done something like this, where you actually write the titles of the songs first and then write after it, or how does it normally work for your process? Like, do you come up with the song first and then title it?
yeah, that I think that was the first time I ever did anything like that. Like I have like a pretty basic um like type of way of writing music. It's not as creative as people would think. It's
Yeah.
normally I listen to the beat, and whatever feeling I get, I'll
Yeah.
say, okay, this is a song where I'm going to be talking about some serious stuff. I want to hurt somebody's feelings. Like I want to, really bring some emotions out.
Yeah.
And I won't really know what I'm going to go with, but I'll try to think of a title before I start to write. I'll try to think of a subject or a title before I write,
Okay.
and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But this time I was like, I started writing this project way before I thought of the idea to spell out "Rest in Peace." No
Mm-hmm.
Valentine was the first one I wrote, and
Okay.
well, Grandma's Prayers and then No Valentine was the first two I wrote,
Yeah.
and I was like, I think I wanted to spell out "Rest in Peace" because I lost five relatives back to back during the process of
Wow.
making it. So
Yeah.
it was my best friend was June 2018, and then my cousin committed suicide in October 2018. And
Mm-hmm.
then my uncle passed from cancer November 2018.
Oh man,
And
it's like
then
back to back.
my grandmother
Yeah.
passed away in August of 2019. And so did her, basically like a musical friend that she had, but he
Mm-hmm.
was like a grandfather to us. So
Mm-hmm.
they passed a week apart, which was very insane
Oh
because
wow.
like they literally, like, all I knew was my grandmother and this man, singing all the time. So for them to
Yeah.
pass away in the same week, it was insane. Like, it was
Yeah.
crazy. But having all of them pass back to back, like, it just kind of like had me super depressed. But I didn't want my project to be completely down. I wanted it to
Mm-hmm.
represent me still. A lot of people know me from my fun, silly music, and I would say In a Row and what else is on there? Should Know. That's like the old Bizzy Balboa. Those songs are like
Yeah.
what they know me for. The silly, fun, high pitched voice. That's what everybody knows me from. And then lately it's been more serious, very much more
More like
topic, a
conscious.
little bit
Yeah.
political.
Yeah.
So I guess a couple of people are learning me from like that. And I just wanted like a mixture,
Yeah. And did you record all these like after 2018, after everybody passed, or when, or was it this year they wrote all the tracks?
I wrote Grandma's Prayers a year before my grandma passed because I knew she was dying. But
Okay.
whenever you really are living in it, you don't really know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I wrote the song like trying to basically saying like, before you pass away, pray for me. Like, send us your blessings because you're the foundation. And she was sick when I wrote it, and I never played her the song. I never asked if anybody in the family played her the song. I
Uh-huh.
never brought it up. And like, after I wrote it, my cousin was getting married,
Okay.
and my grandmother and I, we walked down the aisle together, and I
Uh-huh.
could tell that she was getting weaker.
Yeah.
You know, so around that time is whenever I said, okay, like, it's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started to accept it and I started plotting out the project around the time that she started to pass. But it was really my best friend that kind of encouraged me to do another project. But I had no idea it was going to be what it is. I didn't know that I was going to do this.
Yeah, yeah, and I was gonna ask you too about Grandma's Prayer because that was the first song I actually ever saw you perform last year, and I was like, that's cool, like because I never what the rare thing is like not a lot of people have that relationship with their grandparents. I think people our age or either a little bit older or my younger sister because she grew up with us, but not a lot of people have that connection with their grandparents. So it was kind of cool to hear somebody else that related to that. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, she's fucking dope. And then I was gonna ask you that too,
Yeah.
like if she had heard it, if she had heard it before she passed away, but she didn't, right? You said.
Nah, she didn't. Everybody asked me that. Like, has she heard it? I was like,
Yeah.
nope, I didn't play it.
Is it?
I
Was
wanted
there
to.
a reason why
I,
you didn't want to play it, or is it just you never got to it?
I think I never got to it. I wanted to though.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she would have loved it though. That's what I feel like my grandma was like. I wish she would have like been here to
Yeah.
like hear my music that I did for her because she would always be like, oh, how come you didn't make a video for me or whatever. But hopefully she hears it from wherever she is. um, and then
My
you,
grandmother used to
right,
say the same thing.
yeah. She's like, why don't you do this for me? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you because you touched on it a little bit. I was gonna ask you about the kind of like you have a lot of versatility in your music. So like Reverse, that one's the one kind of like the intro track. At least I feel like it because it tells a little bit about you and that you feeling cursed and all the deaths that happened, which is a deep like introspective track. But then you also get to like Empirical, which is kind of like vibey as well, but it's also talking about like you coming to California, quitting your job and all that. Um, and then you get into songs like Tranquility, which that's like my favorite one off the project. Same thing talking about like your grandma. I believe your cousin, right? You talk about him in that track too. Um,
Yeah.
and pretty much just losing loved ones and thinking about them on a daily basis, which I can relate to. And then you have like love songs, heartbreak songs like Lone Valentine, and then Elohim, which is like more positive. So it's kind of funny because you're right. I feel like we do our both our EPs kind of go with each other because it starts from kind of like a low point and then you end up like on a positive note, which is kind of crazy. Not when I was looking at I was listening to it
Yeah.
again, and I was like, this shit's crazy. But I really like that you kind of mixed a little bit of different vibes. Like you have like the kind of like trap type of beats, you're going off, having fun, and then you also have like like you said, conscious rap that people are getting to know you now. So that was pretty cool how you did that.
Thank
Um,
you.
and with everything that's going on right now with like the pandemic and the protest, with like Black Lives Matter and black people and brown people still getting murdered by the cops, how has that impacted like your creativity as an artist and even just like as like a podcaster?
Well, it impacts me a lot because for one, I'm black, and I've experienced a lot of racial profiling and different things growing up in South Georgia. We also have like one of the biggest unsolved cases in Valdosta, Georgia, which is Kendrick Johnston. He was 18 years old at the time, found rolled up in the gym mat, and
Yeah.
everybody, everyone that's down there, as far as the cops, they're trying to say that it was an accident. He accidentally fell in, but I mean, his organs were missing, his fingernails were missing, he was beaten to
Wow.
death. Like it's just insane. So we have to
Yeah.
still deal with stuff like that down there.
Yeah.
um it's just I take it very personal, I take it very serious. It gets me, it gets under my skin, sometimes it gets me outraged. So what I've been trying to do is get more control over my emotions and not react so quickly off what I see in the news. That's one reason I wrote Antis, because the news has the ability to really snap us out of our reality and have us like all messed up into whatever they want us to be into.
Yeah.
So it I've been taking the time to really talk about these subjects. I've always talked about these subjects. Like if you look on YouTube at some very old Bizzy Balboa music videos, I have one that's called Toxic, and there's a scene in there where I have like Arizona and some Skittles similar to Trayvon Martin, and I have a hoodie on, and I went to the store, and we kind of like reenacted it, and
Hmm.
that was like 2013. So it's like, I've always been very vocal about what's been going on in the world. I've always felt
Yeah.
like it's, a responsibility of mine, or just an artist, to talk about this and to bring light to it, because me personally, just growing up where I grew up, I know that people have no idea what goes on in those small little country areas
Yeah.
where they feel like, who's going to come and say something to us? It's our town. We run this town. And for the most part, they're right. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, they kind of are
Hmm.
right. So it's scary growing up in those areas where it's like extremely in your face.
Yeah.
Like in San Diego, we've been seeing a lot of crazy, racist stuff in San Diego, I still feel like it's not as bad as other places,
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I really have been just trying to focus more on what I can do and what I can control, instead of all of the things that I cannot control, and make sure that my
Exactly.
spirit is at peace, because it's
Yeah.
just too much to take in,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, it just reminded me. I was listening to the Bryson Tiller Genius interview, and he's from I think Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. He was talking about it because
Yeah,
they asked him about the same thing that what did he feel like with the whole protest and everything going on, and he did a few billboards for like Breonna Taylor and stuff like that to kind of use his art and his like status, I guess you could say, to kind of bring more light to
yeah,
the topic. And then he did say that unfortunately, like for him, it's kind of been normalized where he was from, like people being racist to him. It kind of became normalized, which is something like a part of life. And I was kind of thought it was so sad just because he thought it was like it's a normal everyday thing and it shouldn't be, and the fact that it's still
yeah.
going on, right?
Weird, because sometimes I'll catch me and someone else black doing something that we shouldn't be doing, but we're doing it because we feel like, oh, we
Mhm.
may get, harassed, or like
Yeah.
something as simple as I got in the car one time with a hat on, and my friend got in the car and they had their hat on, and we both like took them off. And I looked
Hmm.
at them. It was something about us taking it off at the same time, and I was like, "Why did you take your hat off?" And they were like, "Why did you take yours off?" And I was like, "Well, I took mine off because I didn't want the police to pull us over thinking it's two black dudes in the car." And they was like, "That's why I took mine off." And I'm like, "Fuck, we are fucked up.
Wow. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like this is
exactly.
not okay."
Yeah, it's like where it's already like in built in us. It's crazy. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, but it's cool that you're
Yeah, I
using like
mean,
your
like
art.
growing up, well,
Go ahead.
where we're from, they even used to say things like, now that I'm older, I remember them saying stuff like, "Don't show out in here in front of these white people," and it's like, what?
Right?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now that I'm older, it's like, what? But now, I mean, I get it. They literally are fearful. They still are down there. They are fearful. They don't want no problems with nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't say nothing. Don't look at them. Don't talk to them. That's how it is, literally. And they don't even realize that they are like that. Like a lot of people that I talk to,
Hmm.
relatives and all, they don't realize that they're like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, we're the ones that have to be. I believe we're the ones that should be scared of them, but it's the other way around. So I mean,
Yeah.
don't even get me started on like shootings and stuff because there's always the white kids in the, So, uh, but
Oh man.
but moving on. So for your favorite song that you've ever written, do you have anyone that specifically that stands out to you and any special meaning behind it?
Ah man. Oh, you hit me with that one. Ah. Phew. I mean, I got a few of them that when I turn it on, like it just put me in a mood. I mean, No
Mhm.
Valentine is one of them because that song is so deep. People, it's like so many different situations that I put into one song. I'm talking about being homeless out here in San Diego, waking up in my car, my '99 Lumina at the time, and then I'm also talking about like how I lived a life where I used to take from people, steal, hurt people, do horrible shit. And I changed my life. And now, like, that same thing is happening to me from people that I love. They're like stealing and robbing me and doing the horrible shit to me. So I'm like basically saying, like, in that song, No Valentine, like, yeah, I'm saying, like, will I ever find love and all of that? But at the end of the day, it's also like a very heartfelt song where I'm almost feeling sorry for myself, like it's like a fucked up reality. Like you did a lot of horrible things in your life and that's why these things are happening back to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's a deep ass song. I mean, all of them are my
yeah.
favorites. I love all of them, but the ones that are really deep, that like Violence in the Domestic, I love performing that because it's like a true story, and it's about domestic violence. And I like to perform the fun songs like Nasty Mommy because I like the reaction to the crowd. I like the
Yeah.
energy. So it just depends.
Yeah. All right. Dope. So and then obviously being you and I being women in hip hop, you already know we have to kind of work harder a little bit to get our respect. At least for me, that's kind of the thing that I had to do. But
Speak
how
for
has that
us.
been, right? How has that been for you, and how do you overcome that for those other women that are entering, the hip hop arena?
Um, like it's funny because when I moved out here to San Diego, a lot of people were thinking that I'm like this new young person that don't know what I'm talking about. But
Right.
I've ran clubs before. I've started collectives. I've done everything you could think of,
Yeah.
and I still am very new. I
Hmm.
don't know it all at all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to us, we all we do is try to get our foot in the door. We treat people right.
Hmm.
We're professional, and sometimes you still have to deal with bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I salute you and all the women that's doing things to create our own type of platform, and our own
Yeah.
voices are being heard because we're making it heard. Like that's what I'm doing. I'm creating my own everything instead of
Exactly.
asking. Like I don't want to ask for nothing no more. I just want it because I deserve it, and it should
Yeah.
be there.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Yeah, we have that in common. So that's dope. Like I said, like that platform you have, and kind of moving into that, the Get to Know Me podcast, which you kind of were the first one that kind of guided me because I was doing the audio podcast. Before I even started, I think I hit you up because you mentioned that you had the Get to Know Me podcast. So I appreciate that insight that you gave me. And then I used the Anchor app, which you use for your interviews, and then I ended up now moving out to here to
Hmm.
like video podcast because I like I'm a visual learner, so I love watching like interviews. I'm like a little nerd, so I love watching any like interviews, like rappers, horror stuff. So Get to Know Me podcast is really cool. You get to interact with different people, artists, business owners, all of that. And like I said, you've been on a roll. You've been doing like 3 or 4 a week almost, from what I've seen. So how did the Get to Know Me podcast start? Like for those that
Yeah.
never heard of it, has it evolved? And how do you juggle that, doing the rapping? I'm thinking you also have a 9 to 5, I think you mentioned, and all that. How do you juggle all that for all those people that are like listening, trying to do the same thing?
Well, I started Get to Know Me podcast around I think September 2018. So it was I think it was before all of the deaths started happening,
Hmm.
and I just created it so that I can. Sometimes I get on these little sprees and I just start ranting forever, and then an hour will pass and I'm like, "Fuck," and go delete everything. So I decided, like, because I'm so opinionated, but I do not like opinions. I need to be on a podcast. That's where people like me should be, on a podcast. So
Yeah.
I made my podcast just so I could talk shit. Really, I wanted to talk shit uninterrupted with nobody else's opinion, just mine.
Yeah.
And I was doing it for like a year with just me, no guests, just me talking, almost like a diary. Every now and again, I have a guest, but for the most part, it was just me.
Yeah.
And like recently during the quarantine, because like I said, I've been trying to make the best of my time. Yeah, I am working. I work for my cousin's business. I have my own business. But as far as my 9 to 5 that I had for the past 4 years, I gave it up during this quarantine.
Okay.
Because I needed the time just like everybody else, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
put my life at risk. I live alone, so I can't afford to be sick in a state by myself. So
Yeah.
sorry. But I put up a post and I was like, it's so many artists that I know all over the world. Cause like I said, I've lived in Atlanta, I lived in Florida, I've lived in Alabama, I've lived in Tennessee, and now California. And
Hmm.
everywhere I've lived, I've been around nothing but musicians, artists, rappers, all kind of people.
Yeah.
And videographers. So I was like, I want to start interviewing some of you guys because I know a lot of the San Diego people. I can reach out to them because I know that they're more willing to do. I feel like people and artists in California, and this
Hmm.
is just my opinion, a lot of people may not like this, but the artists that I've met in California are way more serious. They take themselves way more serious. Everybody's going to say they take themselves serious until they start meeting artists in California.
Yeah.
I've lived everywhere. Trust me. Like, it's people that do take themselves serious and that and all of that, but I
Hmm.
feel like the type of way that people take themselves serious here is different because they're not big on themselves. They're willing to work with other people. They
Yeah.
want you to have the knowledge. They want you to have information. They don't want to hide it from you. You know what I mean? They are willing to work and interview and perform and all of that shit. It's not, oh, I'm too big for that. Oh, open mic, I don't do
Hmm.
open mics. It ain't all of that shit.
Yeah.
So I reached out to people that's back home first, and I was like, hey, I know, you guys are probably busy, but if you would like to, you could come on my podcast and talk about your music and all the stuff you got going on.
Hmm.
And maybe some of these California artists will hear you and maybe they'll want to do a song with you.
Yeah.
So after I put that post up, I think it got like 100 and something comments on Facebook.
Oh wow.
And everybody started reaching out to me, and I had like 15 people that first week, and I was like, shit, I'm dropping like 8 artists this week. Like, why wait?
Yeah.
And of course, I got a lot of people like, why are you doing it like that? What's up with that? A lot of questions. But my
Hmm.
thing is, I like to be different. I like to be something extraordinary. I like to be unknown, unheard of. Like, what the hell is
Yeah.
this? I love that shit. So to me, it's like bigger than a podcast. It's like an artist, uh, like a feature for an artist, like a show. You
Mhm.
get to tap in and find out everything that you want as far as like what they're willing to share,
Yeah.
music, everything, and then at the same time, they paired up with another artist that you probably would have never heard of,
Mhm.
just to give that artist a chance to kind of get introduced to a different crowd. And I feel like it's been working out really great. I've been seeing people follow each other that would have never known each other. People running into each other like, "Oh, I saw you on Busy Podcast." Like
That's pretty dope.
everybody's telling me the stories.
Yeah.
It's like really dope. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my whole goal is to just try to help as many people as I can. You know, get shine. And as
Yeah.
far as how I balance it with my own music and stuff, like it really doesn't take up that much time because I'm doing it only one day a week. So that's one way I'm
Okay.
able to kind of sort it all down.
Yeah.
Um, I try to I try to get every artist information a week ahead or 2 weeks ahead so that I can go ahead and work on promo.
Mhm.
And like me, I'm a person that I don't really sleep long. I sleep maybe an hour or 2 hours at a time. No matter how tired, no matter what I've done,
Yeah.
I sleep for like 2 hours. So when everybody sleep, I'm editing videos, I'm editing audio, I'm writing lyrics, I'm reading a book, I'm meditating, I'm crying in the shower or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm always up.
Yeah. That's
I'm
funny.
always up. I'm like a machine, man.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that you're always up. I'm like the opposite. Like they make fun of me at Spooky Gang, Small Zuno specifically. He's like, you're the nap queen and shit. Because that's the only thing that allows me to get through the day. So for me, it's like I'm the opposite of you. I'm like I gotta take like a few like naps to like be able to do everything.
Absolutely. But it's the thing, like, it's crazy because to me, I take a lot of naps, but it seems like every time, whenever somebody's looking for me, I'm up, and
Yeah.
it's always awkward times, like 2:30 in the morning. They'll be like, "I knew you were up." I'm like, "I wasn't." But hey,
That's funny. And so that's pretty dope that you're able to juggle both. And from what I can tell, like say you have like a really strong work ethic, and then you're really organized, so that helps a lot. Because I'm like the
I mean,
same way.
before I was, managing a whole store for T-Mobile the past 4 years. Like, my work ethic is incredible. I hate to
Yeah,
brag, but I have
yeah.
to. Uh,
No, brag about it, man. Because not a lot of people,
like
a lot of people think it's
I
easy,
work
but
my
it's not.
ass off, man, and I love to treat people well. Like I try to treat people
Yeah,
the way that I want them to treat me, so that they know how to operate with me.
yeah,
Like I do it on purpose. So like you see how I am, how I'm, making sure I'm on time, I'm communicating. This is how I want you to be.
yeah.
And hopefully, people receive it that way and they give it back. That's the reason why
Exactly.
I try to make sure that I'm always on point with everything I do, fair and everything, because I need it back that same way.
Exactly. Yeah, I always say like treat it as a job because obviously right now what I'm doing I'm not getting paid for it, but eventually I want to, so I'm treating it like an actual job,
That's what I
right?
feel like. I want to eventually get paid. I mean, the podcast has a small little sponsorship through Anchor, but like I want to eventually. I would love for this to be my job because I
Exactly.
feel like ain't nobody better than people like me and you. We
Yeah.
passionate about this. Like you said, we do
Exactly.
it for free. We do it just because it takes
Yep.
so many hours out of my day. Like
Yep.
I that is one thing though. Like I have to tell artists because, like, it's free. I'm taking my time to do it. So if you miss your interview, man, I'm gonna have to charge you for that that
Yeah.
second round.
That's smart. I should start doing that too. I'm gonna implement that. It's like a cancellation fee or whatever. Yeah, time is money, man. Like you said, it's the time that we're taking to pretty much promote these people. So the least they can do is like
That's right.
be on time.
That's the best you do. Like I don't ask for nothing else.
Exactly. And then to touch on your entrepreneur side, you also have like a clothing line, right? Is the company called Live Full Then Die Empty? Is that correct?
Yeah, live full and die empty. So I was in a crazy relationship in 2000. Well, 2015 is when it ended.
Okay.
Shout out to my ex. We friends or whatever, but it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible, horrible. We fought. We she cut me. It was crazy. It was
Oh my
bad.
god.
But not to throw her on the bus.
Yeah.
Um, the relationship was bad, and I decided to stay out here in San Diego, even though I had no family out here. I ain't
Mhm.
have shit, nothing, nothing, nothing. Living in my car, just horrible. But
Oh
I
wow.
was so depressed.
Yeah.
I was so messed up mentally that I didn't want to go around my family. I didn't want to be around nobody. I just wanted to kind of just like, you know what I mean, fade into the background. So
Yeah.
I stayed out here, and during that time, I started looking at a lot of motivational speakers.
Mhm.
Les Brown is one of them, and he's the one that originally has the saying "Live full, die empty," and he's just always on stage screaming like "Live full, die empty," and get your life right. So I was like, "That's right!" Like that phrase stuck with me, and
Mhm.
I went with "Live full, then die empty"
Mhm.
as a spinoff of his, because I feel like that statement is important. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that we really need to exert ourselves of everything we got while we have life in us, because at any moment it could be gone. And
Exactly.
like as I started like doodling on scrap paper, and I would have my whole wall would be covered up
Hmm.
with positive affirmations and African symbols, and I'm talking about crazy. My roommate probably thought I was insane, but I needed to wake up to motivation. After that relationship, I was so depressed, so distraught. Like I needed to wake up. I was getting myself out of depression,
Yeah.
and I was like, one day I was like, I want to put these on a T-shirt. One day I want to put like positive stuff on a shirt, because
Yeah.
you always walk by people and they T-shirts say some crazy stuff like "eat a dick" or something. I'm sorry, but
That's true.
people, yeah. But I was like, it would be cool if somebody had a shirt on that says like "I love you" or something like that. So
Yeah.
I started to make the shirts, and it's been like 4 years. Yeah, 2016 I started,
Okay.
and I've started with other products and things like that, and I mean it's been great because more than anything it's just really spreading a message. And
Mhm.
because I really still need an original name. I think that the original name is going to switch to Big Love,
Yeah.
because whenever I created it, like I said, I was in depression, I wasn't thinking, but I don't want people to think that it's like me taking from Les Brown, which is why in my on my website I have like all of his information, letting like this is where I heard it from. I
Yeah.
didn't come up with it saying completely. And I do have my LLC and everything, but I just still want to change it. And I'm thinking about changing it to Big Love, simply because that's just what I represent. I
Yeah.
just was joking around on the internet, and I was like, I want y'all to call me Big Love, and everybody started
Yeah.
doing it, but it stuck. It's like
Yeah.
that's my name, that's the brand. Because everything that I do is out of love. I'm always trying to spread love,
Yeah.
receive love. Like it's just love, love, love. Of course, I ain't trying to make it seem like I'm the most positive person in the world. Everybody know that I got a slight temper, especially when you do me wrong. But for the most part,
Yeah.
overall, I got nothing but love, and I treat
Yeah.
people right, and I try to be fair.
Yeah.
So it's big love, but it's still live full and die empty. That name been around for 4 years, so it's hard to just get rid of it. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it's big love.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though. Yeah, like you said, it's cool that you have like a positive message on the t-shirts. The funny ones are always fun as well,
Yeah,
but it's kind of cool to have
just to
like those
help.
positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Um, and for back to moving back to your music and everything, what's like your favorite, like, because we know already like hip hop and rap has evolved a lot, so now there's all these like subgenres, like trap and all that. What would be like your favorite type of rap, and then who or what influences your music? Any artist specifically?
Well, like right now, I really haven't been listening to a lot of artists. I try to give everybody, a good chance. I'm still very old school. I like Nas' last album. I think that shit was phenomenal. But I do listen to the younger guys. Like I love listening to the party music when I'm in a party mood. But I haven't really been listening to a lot of music lately. When I do listen to music, normally it's
Yeah,
not hip hop. It's like Timmy or Sade, Anita Baker, old school type
yeah,
of stuff. But my biggest influence is, I would say, not to sound cliche, everybody's gonna say it, but it is what it is. But
yeah,
Tupac is my father.
yeah,
That's my dad. I
yeah,
love that man to death. DMX, Jay Z, um, Phil Mob, different people all over the world. Like so many different artists that I grew up listening to, East Coast, West Coast, down south.
yeah,
But as far as my inspirations, I think that Jay Z and Pop, and if you say Jay Z, you got to say Biggie. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
He did a lot of spinoffs of lyrics, but
exactly.
I love those three a lot. I love Andre 3000. Oh my God.
Yeah.
DMX. I love real people that got real music, and
Hmm.
also um he's a wild ass dude, but Boosie, his music saved my life a lot. Like he's fucked up mentally. He said a lot of wrong shit.
I only know
I
him like by
love him
like the
though.
I only
Like
know him by like the mainstream songs, but I've never heard his like other catalog. I need to listen to it.
he has some songs that, man, whenever I be going through some stuff, man, like he has a song going through some things, and
Yeah,
he got a lot of songs where it just hits your soul. Like, oh my
yeah,
God, like what? But it's just, people that really have a troubling life. Normally, they a loose mouth like that, and
yeah.
Boosie is real loose mouth. Like, it's some people that I give them a pass, but it's like Boosie, be quiet.
It's like Soldier Boy, you know. It's like the
Yeah, it's like I grew up listening to all of those people, but now that they're older, they're just ruining my childhood.
I know, right? It's like just don't
Please,
talk.
please.
Yeah, and I was about to say too, like I know you didn't really mention them, but like for me, like your sound reminds me a little bit of a mix of like Big Sean and like Big Crit because of the country, you
Mm,
know, country sound, and then Big Sean because I feel like he has. I don't know if you listened to his last album. It's like one of my favorite ones that just dropped this year, but he
yeah,
knows
Big
how to
Sean.
mix, like blend mainstream hits with like conscious shit.
Yeah.
I thought that's cool. Not a lot of artists can do that, so I thought it kind of reminds me of you a little bit.
Oh, thank you. I love Big Sean and I love Big Crit. That's dope.
Yeah. And who would you be? Who would be like your top five? Like, I know you kind of mentioned some of them, but who would you say would be like in your top five, like dead or alive?
Old school or new school? Dead or
Both,
alive? Okay.
both.
Oh man, I started working on a list too, like a
Yeah,
while ago. I was like, who is my list? Like,
I know mine changes all the time.
ah, let's see. I have it here.
I know I have one too, but sometimes I'll like move them around. I'm like, I don't know if I listen to him anymore.
I don't know because I would hate to say somebody and it's like, man, let's just say that um there's not really a long time that I can go without listening to Pac,
Yeah,
Nas, Jay Z, Outkast, Field Mob,
yeah,
and Lil Boosie.
yeah. I love Boosie.
So you know,
Shout out to
I,
Lil Boozy if he's watching.
shout out to Lil Boosie. He needs to listen to me.
Yeah.
That's what, the people used to say I'm the female Lil Boosie, and everybody I used to be like, stop saying
That's funny. We're gonna tag him on this.
stop saying.
It's
Oh
like,
my gosh. He's gonna be like, he gonna say something disrespectful. Them gay girls was talking about me. Oh my.
hey, the bad
See,
publicity is
this is
good
why we don't
publicity.
watch it. Yeah, I know, right?
um, and what is your like greatest accomplishments so far as like as a creative for you?
Ooh. As a creative or as a person?
You can both either creatively or on a personal level.
Okay. Creatively, my biggest accomplishment, I think, was what we did with ACAB, a crew about business. Like
Hmm.
it was just something that cannot be relived, and it may seem like something that was small, but it just was the foundation. It set the stone for everything because that was my first time ever going off away from home,
Hmm.
knowledge and bringing that knowledge back to my people, and we created something with that shit, and it was doing well, and we made a big impact, and like to me that was like the best time of my life. That was the best thing we ever did, and I'm pretty sure I've done some fucking amazing, incredible things, and somebody's gonna inbox me and say, why didn't you tell them about the time you saved me from drowning or something stupid? I don't know. uh I don't know, man. It's like as far as life, I think my biggest accomplishment is just always remembering to choose myself. Like no matter what, as far as like me ending up in California, I moved here with $40. Like I had no money. I lost
Damn.
my wallet at the airport.
Yeah.
I didn't have nothing, and I'm here 6 years later still, and I got my own place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, dang, man, that it made me emotional sometimes thinking about it because I remember waking up in my car with people pulling on the doorknob and shit, and I'm like, what the blowing my horn trying to get people to get away from my car. I remember
Wow.
living.
Yeah.
I remember being in that relationship where I wasn't appreciated, and I stayed thinking that was like all that I knew. And what am I gonna do if I leave? Like
Mhm.
standing up for myself and choosing myself has been
Yeah.
the absolute best thing I could ever do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I admire your strength though. Like especially you said that you lost like five people. It's like not a lot of people can like survive that. So I admire that and I salute you for that.
Yeah, and I was here alone. All of it was happening while I was here.
Yeah.
Like I'm totally alone. Nobody to cry
Yeah.
to, nobody to lean on.
Yeah.
And it was tough. I was still performing. I was dealing with bad business. I was in between jobs. My stepmom got in a horrible car accident a year ago from today. She almost died.
Oh man.
Today is the anniversary of her car accident, but she was hit by a drunk driver. And I mentioned that in my EP as well. I mean, like, she
Yeah.
literally was kind of pronounced dead on the scene. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
we were told that she would be paralyzed from the neck down. And like that's why in Elohim I said, "You lift my stepmother up and let her stand again," because she's moving. She's not, like exactly like she was a year ago, but she's alive, and we are so grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like life is unpredictable. You really gotta be resilient, and you really have to
Yeah.
figure it out. Like deeper than shallow. Like you gotta go deep within yourself. I feel like being alone all of these years has helped me a lot. I'm very much so still very like fragile,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm also extremely strong too. Cause I don't know how it's only been by the grace of God that I've been able to still be here, and still be
Yeah.
able to take care of myself and take care of my family and put other people in positions and spread love.
Mhm.
Like that's how I know that there's a God, because this is bigger than me. There's no way I'm moving this, like this is too heavy for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. That's like I said. I admire that about you. So salute to you on that. And where do you see yourself though? Like
Thank you.
maybe
I
in the next in
salute
the
you.
next. You're welcome. Where do you see yourself in the next like 5 years? Either is music going to be your main thing, or do you see yourself outside of music and doing pursuing something else?
I think um I think 5 years is gonna be the cap as far as like me pursuing it flamboyantly, like with the artist page, the videos, the doing all of that. That's
Mhm.
probably my cap. If I haven't, did anything or felt like I'm doing anything by the next 5 years, then I'm switching my role. I'm still gonna be recording music. My whole life I'll record music as long as
Mhm.
God enables me to,
Yeah.
but I'm going to switch my role to, A&R or something like that, executive producer, or
Yeah.
maybe just radio show host, or like I want to, start getting these younger guys and start
Yeah.
teaching them, and whoever else is because I got a lot of knowledge, I got a lot of experience, so I want to flip it into a different business, maybe even the clothing brand, but I just want to switch it. So if it's not if I'm not songwriting for somebody
Yeah.
by the next couple of years, and I'm gonna fade to the background. I won't be the big artist no more. I'm gonna still be Busy Balboa, but I won't be the artist.
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm the same way. And what advice or encouragement do you have for people that are up and coming, like either MCs or entrepreneurs?
Say advice is learn as much as you can on your own, lot of learning, because if you could do what my whole goal has always been to create my own circle where we
Mhm.
know how to do everything ourselves, so we don't really have to reach out to so many other people, because it's a risky business, and in every business you're gonna have ups and downs, and You just gotta kind of make good relationships. Don't shit on people. Do good business at all
Yeah.
times, no matter how much it costs. Do it right, and then you won't have to repeat it.
Yeah, that's really great advice for those listening. And what do you believe sets you apart from the rest of your peers?
What sets me apart is that like Bizzy Balboa is a whole nother person outside of me, and she runs the show. You know, she's like that dream person that you want to be friends with, you want to get to know, you want to be around. You love everything about them, but
Hmm.
they're so mysterious and catch up to. And I think that that part of me is what makes me so unique because I'm hard to figure out. And I know a lot of people say that, but when it's like, I don't know, like with me personally, I know that I'm a mystery to my own self. I do not know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I separate Casey from Busy, because I have no idea what Busy is doing. I know Casey. Casey is the homebody, you know. Casey is the one that's like, oh hi, you know. But Busy is like so everybody's facing and active, and I'm not like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So she takes over the show, and to see her in action, it's like she's dreamy. You fall in love with her. You know what I mean? Like she's
Yeah.
just so dreamy and cool and unique, and that's just what makes her so different. She's just so cool.
Yeah. That's cool. And then I'm going to switch it up a little bit here. Usually on the latter part of the interview, I kind of switch it to the horror side. So I know you mentioned you're like a horror fan like myself. So first question, what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh man, you name any Halloween, but I would have to say, mm, which one is my absolute favorite? I don't know, man. It's hard. I hate to say the cliche one, but H2O was funny as fuck.
Yeah,
It
I
was
love that
so
one.
funny because they had no idea who they was fucking with. I love Michael Myers, man. That dude right there, I love him. I love him.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I went to the Michael Myers house like over the weekend, but that was pretty dope. Pretty cool.
Yeah, whenever I seen it, I was like, dang, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah, you should go. It's like 2 hours
it's
away.
crazy though. I know, but I just was up there like yesterday. Like,
Oh, no.
Mike is a weirdo, dog. Like, he is so crazy, so scary, but at the same time, he's like so strong and dominant. All that strength, I'll be wanting that shit. I'm like, he gonna choke the shit out of y'all. You do not know what. Ooh, he's a strong motherfucker.
Yeah. And who's like your favorite like final girl like that survives like the horror movie? Who would be your favorite?
Oh my god, my favorite final girl. I don't know. Did old girl make it in Joyride? Candy Cane? Did she make it?
I think she actually did. Yeah. No, yeah, they actually saved her at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, because I love that. That's my movie too. I love Joyride. Candy
Yeah.
Cane.
I know my
I
mom.
think
My
that
mom loves that
was
movie.
she was cool. It's just getting in the car thinking everything cool, and they done really gave the description of her, and he want her now, and I'm like, oh, what did you
I know, right? Teaches
do?
you
They
the
are so
lesson to not
stupid.
don't fuck with a trucker with the CB radio.
Not play around.
Man, did you grow up with any like legends or anything like that? You being from the South, did you have any like legends that your grandma might have told you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, boy did we. My grandmother, I mean, as far as legends, she went by a lot of them. Like, you know, we couldn't wash we still can't wash our clothes on New Year's, you know. I couldn't whistle in the house, you know. That was
Oh
like
wow,
this horrible bad luck for
wow.
women to whistle in the house. And she would just always
Hmm.
have legends and always have sayings and different superstitions and different things.
Yeah.
I respected them. Like, even it was something about a man has to walk in your house
Uh huh.
first on New Year's with money in his pocket or something. I'm like, but what if you don't have a man,
Oh my
baby?
That's a weird. I never heard about the whistling. That's a new one.
Yeah, my grandmother, hey, she had them all. I just was like, yes, ma'am. I don't know.
That's interesting though about the man. So wait, so like some guy would just walk into your house, or how did the legend go?
It's supposed to be like the head of the household. He's
Hmm.
supposed to be the first one to walk in the house on New Year's, and he's supposed to have money in his right pocket or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I've never had that. Maybe that's why I don't have the good luck with the money. I don't hit the lottery and stuff like everybody else.
That's funny. Uh, do you bel
We had the
do you believe in like the supernatural? Have you ever had any like supernatural experiences?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe in that. I've had some supernatural stuff happen. Man, I hate to tell you this story, but here it goes.
Go
But
ahead.
when we lived in the house, my mom got this house, and she, like I said, she used to find me in the closet with my headphones on, listening to music. I was like 5 years old, and I
Yeah,
did it until I was probably like 15.
yeah.
And at this new house we had just moved in, it was like rumors in the neighborhood saying that somebody died in the house, but
Hmm.
we weren't we didn't care. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm in the house, and it was one day I was like, I'm gonna get in the closet and write me some raps. You feel me?
Hmm.
So I get in the closet and I'm writing my raps and I'm got my music on, everyday activity.
Yeah.
And I just felt like somebody was sitting next to me. Like I just felt like it.
Yeah.
And I looked to the right, and it was an old ass lady.
Oh hell
She
no.
was there. And when I tell you we moved out of the house that same day, like ask my mother.
That shit's
Oh,
crazy.
we were out of there. My mom, she subleased it to another lady, and they stayed in there until the lease was up under my mom's name, and we went and found another place.
Oh shit. Did you find out what happened? Like any history about the house or not?
Yeah, actually, there was a family that stayed there, but it wasn't that house. It was down the street,
Hmm.
4 or 5 houses down the street. There was a family that stayed there. The husband killed the wife in the front yard
Oh shit. Damn. I wonder who
like
that.
years ago, and
Yeah.
I know the girl whose mom it was. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
wow.
I found out later, like she was telling the story, like yeah, my dad killed my mom, and she was telling me what area, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I seen some old lady, and how old was she?
Yeah.
It was crazy, but it definitely happened. So
Damn.
I believe ever since then I've always believed in it, and I have some activities that be going on in here. But
Yeah.
I have an altar, so I expect activities to go on in here because I have
Yeah.
an altar. But yeah, I do believe in supernatural.
Damn. That's just crazy. Um. Do you what do you believe in as far as, because I know you say you believe in God and stuff like that. Like, do you believe like in reincarnation, or because I always like having this topic about like life after death type of thing. Like, what do you think like happens after you die?
I really I don't know. I have like a lot of thoughts, but when it comes to like I guess religion or spirituality, I'm sort
Hmm.
of like that kid in the movie Life of Pi.
I haven't seen that
Uh,
movie. I still need to watch it.
it, it's really good. He's like he's like learning about all these religions, and he's a little boy, and his dad is like telling him like you can't do that. He's like saying thank you Allah, thank you Jesus, thank he's like saying all the religion.
Yeah.
And as I was watching it, I was laughing. I was so tickled because I was like, honestly, that's kind of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I believe in as far as like religion. I know I
Yeah.
grew up Christian. I guess I grew up Christian.
Hmm.
Um, and I believe in God. When I pray, sometimes I say in Jesus' name, or sometimes I say I'll ask the universe. It just I'm
Yeah.
just open to whatever, anything that I feel like. I know there's a higher power, so
Yeah.
anything positive that aligned with positivity, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not really super like, oh no, you gotta abide by this. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of passages in the Bible that I go by. There's a lot of passages in the Quran that I go by. I live with a Moroccan family, so there's a
Okay.
lot of Muslim influence around my house.
Yeah.
As far as like my landlords, like their house is attached to mine, so we eat dinner together. There's a lot of Muslim tradition together.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not, like I get offended if people say stuff about Muslims or any other religion. I don't like
Yeah.
nasty stuff like that. Like I don't like when people do nasty business. Like
Yeah.
because I feel like we all are humans and we none of us just have all of the answers. So we should be allowed
Exactly.
to believe in whatever we want to believe in until it's time to leave. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I feel like reincarnation is definitely a possibility.
Mhm.
Um, because so many different people that look like people from the past, and there's a lot of children that are being born and they can remember their past life,
Yeah,
and
that
like
shit's
it's like
crazy.
how would this 5-year-old know about this person that died in 1970? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I really don't know, but I'm open. I've always been a very open child, open person, so I'm
Yeah.
open to those things. Like I have no idea. I just pray that, like, I kind of want to be kind of consciously aware whenever I do pass. I want to know that it ended. That's all.
Exactly.
I kind
That's
of want to know that it was
yeah,
over.
and right, yeah, that's what I think
Hey,
about
mission.
too. Go ahead.
I really want to kind of just like it kind of like I fall asleep and then I wake up and it's like an elevator and people are clapping like, "Good job, you're done. Come on, the
Come on
jacuzzi's
down.
over there. We can drink." Like, yes, it's over.
I know, right? Yeah, I agree with you on that because that's what freaks me out, like the
I
no
want it to be a
consciousness
good
anymore.
time. Like, I want to
Yeah,
see all my ancestors like, "Grandma, what are you doing?" You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. That'd be cool. Or even if, like you said, like when you die or if you're reincarnated, like you're conscious somehow, like knowing that you come back. Because like you said, sometimes you meet people and you connect with them, and it feels like you've known them like your whole life, which is like really strange.
Telling you, they
Yeah,
seem very familiar. It's
exactly.
weird, but it's like I always feel a deeper connection, even deja vu. Like sometimes
Yeah,
it's like, why is this happening? Like I felt this before. This is familiar. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I watched this movie. It just came out like this year. Tenet. What's it called? I forgot. John Washington. I think it's Denzel Washington's son. Comes out in it.
Oh
It's kind
yeah,
of and it touches on that. It's like a trippy ass movie, but at the end they're like, "Hey, I've known you so many times, lifetimes." So I thought that was kind of crazy. So I
oh
was
yeah.
like,
I like stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah, so definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. But I like talking about that topic just because I'm kind of interested in like everybody, like how everybody thinks and their beliefs. Um, and another question, what's like your greatest fear and why? And do you ever think you will overcome it?
I think my greatest fear is drowning,
Oh
or
yeah,
or or being stuck somewhere that I can't get out of. I don't want to like be the thought of being trapped.
yeah,
Ah, freaks
that's
me out.
scary. Yeah,
Like I don't know, like not being able to breathe freaks me out. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I
That's
guess it could be because like I have asthma and sleep apnea,
hmm
and I struggle with choking sometimes in my sleep. So I
yeah,
wake
that
up
is
like,
scary.
ugh,
Yeah, that
giving
is
me anxiety.
that'd be a scary way to go.
But yeah, not being able to breathe or choking or something.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I don't want to die on accident. Like fuck no.
I know, yeah. Talking about that, like about not
Oh
breathing,
no.
I could relate to that because the other, like, it was like a few weeks ago already. Like that little like powder, like I forget what it's called, like the one that you put on the pepper that you put on the pizza. You know how it's like kind of like peppery, but it also kind of like if you inhale it, you can start choking on that shit. Yeah, right. So I fucking did. I don't know how it happened. I inhaled it. I'm like, dude, if I fucking die this way, that's so fucking embarrassing. Like I was literally like choking to death, and then Melly, my sister, was like, she's choking, and I was like, finally, like I was able to like fucking get it out of my throat and everything. But I was like, oh my god, if I died this way, like the 1,000 ways to
Oh my
die, it would have been embarrassing.
god. Watch that show. I watch I Shouldn't Be Alive. Like I for
Yeah,
some reason I'm into shows about death.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I was like, man. But yeah,
It's not good.
yeah, seriously. And then these are like the last two questions I have for you before we get out of here. But usually like asking the deeper question towards the end. So, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, either creatively or on a personal level?
Hmm. I really the only thing that I want is for people to just know that I was here and to know what type of person I was when I was here. Like I want to just be remembered for being helpful, for being a service. Like I don't
Mhm.
really care about any acknowledgement, but I just want people to be like, yo, like she helped me like do this. Like she was
Yeah,
always there whenever I needed this. She always answered. Like I want people to know that I did my best to help when I was here. That's
yeah.
it. Because they're gonna draw their conclusions about everything else that I've done. But I just want them to know that I did my best. I tried to
See, you kind of froze up a little bit. Can you hear me, or it looks like you kind of froze on there? I'm not sure if your internet connection. Let's see here. All right, she'll get back on here in a second. Yeah, so it's technical difficulties should be good, but yeah, interesting person, dope human being. We'll get her on back in a second. Right now, I think she just kind of lost connection here. Um, Here we go. Let me bring her back on here. All right, there we go. You kind of froze a little bit for a second.
yeah.
All
My
right, sorry.
bad.
No worries.
Internet is a
You
little
were talking
tricky
about,
over here today.
right? Yeah, you were talking about your legacy that you wanted to be remembered, like for helping
I was
people.
going to try to
All right.
yeah. I'm trying to be remembered for helping people basically. Is my internet
Yeah.
stable?
Yeah, it looks like you're good now. Um,
Okay.
and then just the last question too, for you. What are two things that about you that you want your people to know about you that they may not be aware?
Two things that they may not be aware of.
Yeah.
Oh man. uh, can it be like some history or some
Yeah, like
things that I
yeah, like
like?
history or like random fact about you.
Okay, random fact. First random fact: I was knocked out with a baseball when I was like 4 years old. My cousins were throwing them on the roof, and I opened the door to
Oh
go
shit.
outside, and
Yeah.
it knocked me out, and I had to get like a CAT scan. They thought I
Oh
was
shit.
gone, so a baseball almost took me out at like 4.
Oh my god.
So that's one thing.
All right.
And the second thing is, I'm 31 years old. A lot of people think I'm 18, so maybe that's a surprise.
All right. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for sitting here with me, for talking about yourself, sharing who you are and everything for those that might not know you. Any like shout outs or anything you want to give out before you head out?
Yeah, shout out to 7 Octobers and Spooky Gang.
Thank you.
Y'all always show me a lot of love, and no matter what y'all think, big or small, it means a lot, especially for me. I don't really have anybody out here, so
Yeah.
feeling that love from all of y'all is major. Thank you for having me on. I want to shout out my mother and my father, my parents for raising me and believing in me. And ACAB, a crew about business. Shout out to my team, Big B, Beware Records, Kevin Scott, um, man, Sound Lounge. They always recording my hits. In San Diego, Valostas. all the cities that I represent, Valdosta, San Diego. Big ups to everybody. And I apologize about my internet, man. We working to get some better internet over here. I know I'm lagging bad, but
No worries. We can always bring you on when you drop another project or something. Because I had to show love to you just because you've been like working your ass off. So I was like, me and you, I feel like we're like in comparison, like we're like the same. So I really appreciate that. All the stuff you've been working, it doesn't go unnoticed. Because I know being like a podcaster or whatever you want to call yourself, blogger or whatever, sometimes you feel like unappreciated just because you don't hear it that much and you're like on the other side, doing the interviewing. So I was like, I need to give you the spotlight and like show love to what you're doing and keep going.
I really appreciate that. It mean a lot.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you again. No worries for the technical difficulties. It's all good. So shout out to you again. You can follow her at Bizzy
Yeah, this
Balboa. um, all right. So anything else you want to say before you leave?
man, y'all string Disturb Tranquility. Follow me, BIZZYBALBOA. I got merch, LFTDE.BigCartel.com. Just keep supporting, keep following Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue podcast, baby.
Thank you.
Check out Get to Know Me podcast every Saturday. And that's it. Big love to everybody.
All right. Well, thank you and peace. Big love. All right. All right, well, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in for another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue. Apologize for the technical difficulties; it happens, but we got through and done with it. Follow Bizzy, dope, like I said, dope human being, dope MC, podcaster, all that. So, without further ado, I'm gonna peace out. See you guys on another episode.